Okay, so the last article that I want to cover tonight, of course, has been another big story from this week, and that is the court ordering Dan Andrews and him finally agreeing to hand over his phone records in relation to the crash from over 10 years ago. So if anyone's missed this one, the title of the article, Dan and Catherine Andrews agree to hand over phone records from day of crash with cyclist Ryan Muirleman. Former Victorian Premier Dan Andrews has agreed to hand over phone records from the day his wife and a cyclist collided just hours before a key court hearing. The case returned before the Supreme Court of Victoria on Monday as the Andrews were expected to fight a subpoena for phone records related to the collision. But Associate Justice Melissa Daly was told an agreement had been reached with the former Premier and his wife set to hand over records from only the day of the crash, January 11. Mr. Muirleman's barrister, James Catlin, said that he had expected the hearing to be fiercely contested, but the Andrews had indicated they would no longer fight it at 8:05 a.m. Waited till the morning of the case before they decided to say anything. As of 4 p.m. yesterday, they were still objecting. It's only at 8 a.m. today we get correspondence, he said. Just typical Andrews, really, isn't it? I mean, just unbelievable. The documents agreed upon will now have to be supplied to Mr. Muirleman's lawyer by July 25th. So we're only talking a couple of weeks away, so it should be very interesting to see what those phone records reveal. Associate Justice Daly said it was abundantly clear from the evidence that Monday's hearing was unnecessary, questioning why the Andrews took 2 weeks to confirm they would consent to the revised subpoena. She ordered the Andrews to pay Mr. Muirleman's legal costs relating to Monday's hearing, and I believe they were quite significant costs too. Outside court, Mr. Muirleman's father, Peter, hailed the progress as one step in a long battle. It's going to be a long road for us, but we're up to the fight, and I want to thank everybody who supported us and believed in us, he said. He said his family was trying to gather as much evidence as they possibly can, believing the initial police investigation failed to properly examine the incident. You think? No 000 call. They were allowed to drive the vehicle home with a busted windscreen. No breathalyzing of the alleged driver. I mean, it's just a farce from start to finish. It's taken its toll on Ryan, and we're trying to protect him as much as we can. Yes, and it's an expensive ride, and we'll tough it out as long as we can, he said. So I urge you, please, if you can give anything at all, go to the GoFundMe page. So just go to gofundme.com and look up Muirleman Justice Fund, or otherwise just do a search for Help Ryan Fight Back Against Catherine and Daniel Andrews. And any small amount, small or large, whatever you can give, I know they will certainly appreciate it, and it will definitely be going to a good cause. So whether you want to support Ryan and everything he's been through, whether you hate Daniel Andrews and you want to see him get what's coming to him, whatever your reason, or if you just want to see justice done, please do jump onto that GoFundMe page and give generously to their wonderful cause.
So the police have a lot to answer for.
Oh, absolutely they do.
They've facilitated this.
Yeah, they've aided and abetted.
Well, they've perverted the course of justice.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Who was driving the car?
And why weren't they breathalyzed?
Exactly.
I mean, if anyone else had been involved in an accident, they 100% would have been breathalyzed. Why was she never breathalyzed? Why were they allowed to drive a car home that had a huge, not only, it was crushed in on one half of the windscreen. I mean, it's completely unroadworthy.
This is where the Road Safety Act sort of has got a bit of an anomaly in it. In the case of a motor car accident, the police officer is then, if they are under the suspicion that the driver is intoxicated, then they give a breathalyzer. And yet, when they're operating through a booze bus, or there's
no suspicion required.
No suspicion required. And you've got to say, where's that come from? There's a weakness, but this is not only here in Victoria, this is the case in every state. So they've all sort of colluded here in order to give the police these powers that really are just totally inconsistent with any legislation right back to when Adam was a boy.
I've bought and sold cars over the years, and you have a chip in your windscreen that's within the wiper movement, and it's unroadworthy. You have a bit of what they call sandblasting, which is the little tiny marks. Oh no, but this the windscreen's half crushed, and inside the car. Oh yeah, no, that's fine to drive home, no problem at all. I mean, you couldn't see through it. But no, perfectly fine, nothing to see here.
Well,
Off
there's
you go.
clearly an exemption in the Road Safety Act for premiers.
Yeah, well.
I must have missed that bit.